Hello, and welcome to an episode of EOS Repair. I am your host, Mr. Fixit. In this video, I'm going to show you how to secure your wireless home network from freeloaders, eavesdroppers, and hackers who could wreak havoc on your network. So we're going to maximize the security. First, you need to access the router's setup page. And to do that, the information is located in the user manual. You enter the address, and then a window will pop up. You enter the password, and then you have access to the router. Now, first thing you need to do is change that administration password. The password is default, and if you look down here where you connect and disconnect, remember when I showed you that the SSID in the previous video is displayed here? Well, what happens is if it's somebody or your neighbor or somebody nearby sees this, then they're going to know exactly what kind of router you have. And then they can start working their way to access your network. Well, I'm going to show you how to prevent them from accessing your network. First thing we need to do is change the password. The password is a default, and anybody that knows the router will know what the password is. And then that gives them access to your router, and they can start causing havoc. Change the password. Then you confirm the password. Once you have it confirmed, and to check, click down here at the bottom and choose Save Settings. Now it'll take a few seconds. The router gets it set up. Then it brings you directly back to this window again. Now that it's changed, re-enter the username and password. Now remember, the password is your new one, and be sure you write this down because you will need this from now on to access your router. Once you have the password in, choose log in again, and then you get the window saying that the settings were successful. Now you have the setup password changed. Another thing to consider is the web access. What this is what computer is allowed to access this setup page. Now you can choose HTTP or HTTPS. If you're going to use wireless, you can choose the HTTPS, which is a secure protocol. Now, if you purchase things online and stuff, you'll notice at the top when you're checking out, you'll see the HTTPS. Well, that shows that your browser is using a secure protocol. That's what the information here is. You can use either one or both. Now, if you're going to use wireless, use the HTTPS protocol. Then this way your communications between your computer and the router is encrypted. Wireless access web. This ensures if a computer is wireless, like the one I'm using now, can access the router's setup page. Now, if you do have a computer connected using the Ethernet, then you can disable the wireless access. then that way that computer that's connected to the Ethernet is the only computer that can access the router's setup page. Now, for the router's remote access, be sure that it is disabled. Unless for some reason you have to have it enabled because you're out of town and stuff and you have to access your router, this does not need to be enabled. Leave it disabled. Next thing we're going to do is go under the wireless. Now you can see your wireless. Next thing we need to do is change the network name. This is the SSID. Remember, I showed you that when you're connecting to a network, it shows you all the wireless networks that are available. Well, anybody who's driving by or just happens to be nosy will see this identification. Now, if it says Linksys and Netgear, Belkin, well, they pretty much know the defaults of these routers. And this is how they can access your network. Well, what you want to do is change it. You can change it to any unique name that you wish. I'm going to name this ES Repair. Now, the SSID broadcast is what tells the router to broadcast itself. It's kind of like an announcement. So anybody that's in range, as I've demonstrated a while ago, here, this is what shows up on another computer. It's saying, hey, this is who I am and this is where I'm located. Now, what you do is disable it. Once you disable it, any client computer, whether it's yours or somebody else, must know what the SSID or the network name is in order to connect to it. Now, once you choose it, change your name, disable the broadcast, save changes. Then you'll get a message saying that the settings are successful. And then when you connect to a network, this is what it will look like. It'll say it's an unnamed network. This is what you want, because now nobody knows what kind of network you have. Once you have it set up, you click on it, choose Connect. Now, you'll notice that it says type the network name for the network. Now, because I have it set up, get that out of the way. Now, this is what happens on the client side. Once you have the SSID disabled, anytime somebody tries to connect to your network, they have to know what the name of the network is. And it has to match letter for letter and number, whether it's capitalized or lowercase, and then choose Next. Now, it does say that the router is unsecured network. I'm going to connect anyway, and then I'm going to choose Save this network. Now down here it'll say Start this connection automatically. I want to go ahead and have it clicked to do so, and then choose Close. Now you choose if this is a home, work, or if it's public, which I'm going to choose home, and then choose Continue. And now my network is set up. Now we can see that I am now connected to my new network. Now when you select one of these, you'll see the window that pops up gives you information of the network. Next, I'm going to show you how to change the IP address. Now, the IP address is the router's IP address. This is the same address that you've used to access the router's setup configuration. Now, anybody that's going by and they notice what your internet router is, then all these routers like Linksys, Belkin, I believe Netgear does. I haven't used one of those, but they all have a default IP address to access the network or to access this configuration page. And anybody that knows what kind of router you have will know what the default IP address is to use. Well, we want to change that. Now, you have choices. You can use IP addresses ranging from 10.0.0.0 to 10.255.255.255. You can use IP address ranging from 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255. And you can also use IP address range from 192.168.0.0 to 192.168.255.255, as you see on the screen. Now, these are considered private IP addresses, meaning you will not find these assigned to anybody on the internet. These are what are used for private networking, as we are using here. Now, you can use whatever IP address you want, as long as you're in with one of those ranges that I shown a while ago. But keep in mind, when you change it, write it down somewhere along with your password if you need to, because this IP address will be used anytime you have to make changes to the router. Well, I'm going to change it to 172.31.200. Now, this will be my new IP address. You don't necessarily have to use mine. You can use any one that you want. This one here I just decided to use. The other thing that you can change is the subnet mask. You can use what they have. If you click on the list, it gives you options as to which one you want. You can change it to this. Down here you'll notice what will happen, that this is the IP address range that's going to take place once I save the settings. If you change, whichever you change, this will show you the range that you can have on your network. Now, once you decide on the IP address and the subnet mask you want to use, come down here to the bottom and choose Save Settings. Now, it will take us several seconds for the router to make all the changes. Once the router makes all the changes, you'll notice that the address has changed. Now it's showing 172.31.200.200, just like I had it. Now all you do is re-enter your username and password, and then choose log in. Now notice up here that your IP address had changed. Keep in mind, this is an IP address that you will be using from now on. So if you change the password, go ahead and write this IP address to it. Then that way you know exactly the IP address that you need to use to access your internet or your router's configuration page. Now notice down here where it says starting IP address, it shows the new IP address and it shows the starting IP address. This shows you the maximum number of computers that you can use, and which you don't necessarily have to, but this is the maximum number. You cannot connect any more. Now what happens is if you change your subnet mask like this, it changes. The router will automatically decide what IP addresses you can have. And then if you get one that's too high, then it will tell you that you have the error that you can't use it because it's higher than what it can assign computers to. And you can see how it makes changes, and then it shows you what all the IP address changes will be. Now let me click cancel. Now you can see this is my original one. I'm using this subnet mask. Now what happens is I got my DHCP server turned on, and the router will automatically configure all the clients to the information that they need to access the internet. And this is the IP range that my network will use. The next thing I'm going to show you that will help improve security on your network is using what's known as wireless MAC filtering. Let me click on this. The MAC filter, which is the MAC stands for Media Access Control, is a unique address that is assigned to each individual network interface card or a NIC, whether it's Ethernet or it's wireless, Wi-Fi. Any device that can communicate has a unique MAC address. Think of it as your home. Your home has a postal address. Your post office sends your mail directly to your home. Well, you're assigned to that address. Now, the router is just like a post office. It knows exactly which computer sent what information and what computer is receiving information. This is the importance for the MAC address. Each computer or device has a unique address. Now, we can use the MAC filter and turn it on. Now, you can choose to prevent certain PCs from accessing your wireless network, or you can permit only PCs listed in the access to the wireless network. Now I'm going to choose permit only and then choose edit MAC filter list. Now you'll notice that I've already have this listed. This is my computer. Now what happens, you have up to 40 that you can add. Now if you're not sure what your MAC address for your device is, no problem. Just make sure that it's connected to the internet or to your router. You'll notice there's a button here that says wireless client MAC list. Click on that. The computer will automatically list all the computers that's on your network. Here it will give you the client's host name. This is the computer name that was assigned to you assigned to your computer when you set your computer up. The IP address, which is the current IP address that the router has assigned to it. As you can see, it's changed from the old one to the new one. And it tells you the unique MAC address to my computer. This is how the computer or the router knows what it is. Now you'll also see a fourth one that says enable MAC filter. All you have to do is select each box of the PC that you know that this will enable the filter. And then when you choose update filter, all the devices that you checked are now listed in this box. Now you can have up to 40 different devices that the router will filter. Now what happens once you choose Save Settings, you'll get the successful and then click Continue. Now you have your address. Now you can enter it manually. If you know what the MAC address to your device is, you can enter it manually. Or you can do as I showed you, connect it to the router, list it, and it'll give you the IP address, click the box, and then choose Update MAC Filter. And then all of your MAC filters is on here. Now, because I have it set for permit only, it means that only the MAC addresses that's listed in the list will be permitted to access the router or the internet. This is another way that you can secure your internet or your home network from freeloaders and eavesdroppers and anybody who wants to try and cause havoc. Now, the next thing we're going to work with is encryption or encrypting your wireless network. Now, I'm going to go under wireless security. Your router may already come pre-configured out of the box, and the information to access the router will be in the user manual. This is an older version of Linksys, and they do not come pre-configured for encryption. I don't know about the newer versions, if they do or not. I know Belkin, they do come pre-configured for encryption. I'm not sure about Netgear, but you can change the security mode that they use. Here I'm going to show you the list. If you click on the security mode, as you can see, it's currently disabled. You have two choices. You can use either WPA or WEP. WEP stands for Wired Equivalency Privacy. If you use WPA, which is more secure, it's Wi-Fi Protected Access. WPA2 is an advanced version of the first WPA, and it's more secure. It's most secure. And these are the only ones you'll be working with. Don't worry about the enterprise or radius. That's for using servers and stuff. If you use WEP, it's fairly simple to do. Now, as you can see here, you have the default key, which you can choose from 1, 2, 3, or 4. You can choose the strength of the encryption, either 64 bits, which is 10 letters, as you see here, or you can choose the 128-bit, which is 256 hex digits. Now, what they mean by hex, you'll notice it's got numbers and letters and stuff. That's what they refer to as hex digits. Now, to do this, you can type a passphrase, as I did here. I typed in ES Repair Demo. Any passphrase will work, and then choose Generate. Now, as you can see here, it creates a set of keys. Now, we're using 64-bit 10 digits. Now, if we were to change it to 128, it's 26 digits. Then choose Generate again. Now, you see the difference between the two? The stronger the encryption, the harder it is for someone to crack it. Now, as you can see here, that's a lot to type in. Now, the best way to do these is some routers allow you to use lowercase and capitalized letters. Now, in this case, you could do the same thing, but you must remember to write this down, especially when you got a key this long. You choose which key you want to use, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, and write it down. Now, any client computer or device that will be connecting to your router must have the same key, as I will demonstrate. Now, let's go ahead and use this one here. I'm going to choose copy. Now, you'll need to write it down to where you'll remember what the key is. Now, I'm going to choose Save Settings. And choose Continue. Now, since I'm using Wi-Fi, mine's going to reset. And you'll notice down here, it'll automatically reset, like now you show it. Now that my network has changed. Now all you have to do is right click it, choose Properties. Now once the unit comes up, you'll notice your properties for in this case my ES Repair Wireless Network properties. Now currently it shows that there is no authentication. It's open. Now we want to change it to shared. The encryption type will be WEP. Now it only gives you that choice if you click on it. Now we need to enter the complete password. Now by default it will mask your security key, but if you need to see what you're typing, just click the box here and it will actually show you what you're typing. Now down here notice it says key index. If you click on it, you have 4 choices. Now for this to work, you must have the correct key checked. Now a while ago we had key number 1 checked. That's the one we used. So be sure that whichever key index you use is selected. And then choose OK. Now it will show you that it's connecting to it. And it inquired a new IP address. Now when you click on it, you'll notice that it says excellent and unsecured. It'll change after a few minutes. It's just that the network just hasn't been updated yet. And now if you notice down here, now we have local and the internet. Now we are encrypted. You'll also notice that when I connect, you'll notice down here that there's no icon anymore. And that's because if the network is unsecure, then this icon disappears and changes. Notice this one right here. It says security enabled network. This means that the network is now secure. This is the same network and it's unnamed. Now once you log back on, which you may have to log back into your router. Now if you're hardwired to the router, then you don't have to worry about it restarting and stuff. But any device that's connected to the Wi-Fi will have to be reset and have a new shared key. Now again, this is one of the weakest encryptions that you can use. Now we can use WPA personal or WPA2 personal. Now I personally recommend, but keep in mind, all devices that will be connecting to the router must support the same encryption. If they only support WEP, then go ahead and use WEP. If they do support WPA or WPA2, choose that for your network. But any device connected to your network must support the same encryption. Now I'm going to use WPA2 personal because it is more secure. It'll ask you for the algorithm that you want to use. You can use AES, or you can use TKIP and the AES combination. Now I'm going to use AES because it's stronger. You choose which one your clients are going to support or do support. And down here you just enter a shared key. Now what I've done is I've used a passkey which I use from web. Now if you can't come up with a strong shared key, you can use the web function like I demonstrated a moment ago to generate one of these codes and then copy and paste. But keep in mind, write it down somewhere, write it with your access to your router, then that way anything you need that's important is all in one place. And then enter it. Group renewal key, or the group key renewal, don't worry about it. It's set for 3600 seconds. What this does is it allows the router to reset the algorithm for all your clients. It's not really necessary, but you can have it set for however many seconds you want it to wait before it renews. Now once you're done, choose Save Settings. Now it's going to kick out again, as I've shown with web. And again, here you see the settings saved on the computer do not match. So we'll just right click and choose Properties again. Now once it shows up, now you can change it. Now it gives you a list of the different types of security you can use. Now since I changed mine to WPA2 Personal, we'll select that. Now we'll choose which encryption that it used. You can use TKIP or the AES, which that's what I used. Then you can enter your key. Now if you need to see what you're typing again, click the box that says show character. Now it'll show you exactly what you're typing. Now be sure that you have your writing correct, because these are sensitive or case sensitive. Now you can use both lowercase, capitalize. You can change some of these to lowercase. You can change the numbers, but this will give you a good, strong encryption to your network. Once you have this set, choose OK. You'll reset your adapter. You'll acquire a new IP address. Once the router confirms, yep, okay, this is the key, you're connected to the router now. And as you can see now, it has changed and I'm connected. Down here, you'll notice it says Security Enabled Network. That means that my network is now secure. Now we're back to our web wireless security. I've shown you different steps that you could take to improve the privacy of your network to keep other people off of it. Now, you could check your basic wireless settings. And as you can see here, I have my G only. I've got my wireless network name. I've got it all disabled. I've got my wireless network MAC filter turned on. I've got my wireless security turned on. So these are all of the things that you can do to improve your privacy. Finally, the last thing that we need to do is make sure the firewall is turned on. Routers do come with a basic hardware for firewalls and stuff. What it is the SPI, which is the specific packet inspection thing, whatever you want to call it. And what this does is that the router ensures that anything that comes in to your network, it checks it to make sure that it goes to a specific computer on your network. Anytime your computer accesses the internet, the router knows. And the router keeps in memory who accessed the certain information. And then the information comes back. It must match the same information the router has stored, and then it will accept it and send it onto your computer. Now, you can block anonymous internet requests, filtered multicasts. You can also filter the ident, which is port 113. And if you need any help, you can click on more, and it will explain more as to what these are. And that's basically all there is. Now your router and your home network is secure, it's encrypted to where nobody else can access your home network and cause havoc. Well, I'm your host, Mr. Fixit. This has been a presentation by ES Repair. Thank you for watching.